Different day and different time, but the same stuff. Feel like you go in a circle, stuck in the same rut. Want to be free from the bondage of unrestrained lust. I know the feeling, I've been there, I wore them same cuffs. I asked myself, is it possible when I came up that I caught amnesia and so forgot where I came from? But I'm not sure, so I play it safe, keep my name tucked. And I go back to before the truth when I played drums. Yeah, man, this life is so simple then. Just me, a pair of sticks and a cymbal stand. Youth ministry, Uncle Mike was a simple stand-up for righteousness, teaching his life and about a simple plan. I discovered that life is so unpredictable. Who would've known it would go and get this difficult? Yeah, you dig a hole, they dig a bigger hole. And the pain of life is so cyclical that all you want is
freedom to live, freedom from sin, freedom to overcome and overcome
all you want is
freedom to live, freedom from sin, freedom to overcome and overcome again.
I know the feeling stuck in your old ways. Feel like you always gonna be there.
I remember everything. Everything. You could have helped me, but instead you beat me to dust. And you? Yes, you do remember. I was 6 years old. No, you listen to me. No, I think you forgot. I said listen to me. This is my time. You understand me? It don't matter what you tried to do to me, because you couldn't destroy me. I'm still here. I'm still strong. And I always will be.
Even in old age, can't even front no more. Don't it feel like a tug of war? Frightened and so afraid, cause it wasn't supposed to go this way. You looking over your life like, how did I get here? Why can't I get out? Just
All right, guys. Hello. Welcome back to Real Talk with Cinthia. I'm your host, Cinthia Tamayo. Guys, we had some technical difficulties. So if you guys are in the chat, number one, please let us know if you can hear us. Number two, share the live, please, and comment. And just make sure, let us know you keep us, let us know if we can hear us, okay? But Lorenzo, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. I apologize. I don't know what's going on in the air with the internet, but can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you good, just as long as you can hear me.
Okay, I can hear you. Guys, there might be like a delay because it's been like 30 minutes that we've been trying to make this work. So hopefully we can get through this. There might be a little bit of a delay, but just bear with us, okay? But Lorenzo, thank you so much for accepting my invite. And it's so nice to meet you. I'm so excited to have you on here in spite of, this is the thing when you go live, you have these technical difficulties, but hopefully we can get through this podcast. I'm excited to talk to you. How are you doing?
Yeah, for sure. First of all, thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it. And hopefully it all goes well. It's an honor to be on here, so thank you.
Of course. And I think there is a little bit of a delay, you guys, but if you guys are watching, just if you guys could interact in the chat and just let us know, that way we can kind of be on top of it. So there might be, I see Bailey. Hey, Bailey, thank you, love, for being here. If you guys can share the live too, that would mean a lot as well. But yeah, Lorenzo, as you guys saw the intro, I don't want to present you because I want you to introduce yourself for people who are watching, or even for people who come back and watch the live stream, who might be like, who is this? Like, well, who is this person? If you could do a short little introduction of who you are, and then I have some questions for you. But I'm super excited to get into this conversation with this real talk conversation. So I'll give you the mic for a few minutes.
Okay. I'm a regular guy. I'm actor, model, father, grandfather. I'm originally from Georgia, living in Tennessee. I'm a man with a testimony, someone who's been through a lot, and somewhat of a mental health advocate, because I want to share my story and help others, in whatever way that I can. So that's basically it. That's me.
Okay, it looks like you have that narrowed down. You're like, this is my summary. This is who I am. But I love that. Okay. So guys, if you guys are watching, I feel like we're like in the what do you call it? Like the news. You know what I'm saying? When you're watching news, and it's like there's like this delay, but it's okay as long as you guys can hear us. Ink, I see my friend Ink on here. What's up, my friend? How are you? Okay. So I have to say first, again, thank you again for accepting my invite. If you guys don't know, on TikTok is obviously a huge platform. I think that's where I found you. But I thought it was really cool that it was men's mental health. And if people who follow me know that I'm so super passionate about mental health, and I thought it was super important because, of course, I was watching some of your interviews, and I follow you on there, and you'd be doing funny things on there. But I'm the same way on TikTok. I'd be serious, and then sometimes I'd be crazy, and but that's just balance, right? But I'm excited to talk to you about this because I feel like it's very important to talk about mental health and also men's mental health, because it's not because we ignore men, but I feel like it needs more attention, if you will, or more awareness for men's mental health. So we're gonna get into that in just a second. But if you want to tell us, how did you get into like acting and stuff? I'm curious. I have to ask you that before I forget, before we get into the more serious conversations. And how long have you been doing it?
Right. Well, I've been wanting to be an actor since I was a kid. So, uh, I've been at it, for quite some time. Professionally, I've been doing it for 10 years now. Um, it's just always been an outlet for me, because it's just a way of expressing, myself, and a way of, releasing. It's also healing for me,
All right.
because it's, the fact that I'm doing something that I love to do.
Mm,
It just helps me in a lot of ways. You know what I mean? So, um, I'm very passionate about it. Like I said, I've always wanted to be an actor since I was a kid. So many times I'd watch movies as a kid, and a lot of people would watch the movies because it was a good movie, but I was always like studying. Like
mm,
I was always like locked into how actors would act the way that they act. Like why, like I would, pay attention to the emotions that they put into it,
mm,
and pay attention to how, they would, act out certain lines, you know,
mm,
and I found myself, somewhat doing the same,
yeah.
just acting out, all these lines, and then, as I got older, I was like, you know, I really want to do this, so uh, back in 2015, I started in, Colorado, Denver, Colorado, and I just kind of took off from there. So, like I said, I've been doing it, for 10 years now, you know, and it's been a blessing to be able to do what I love.
I love that. I love that. So, I know there's I guess I could say, what are your favorite, I guess, movies or shows that you've been that you say this is, I really enjoyed being a part of this. And also, and I want to ask you about the acting because I want to get into the more deeper stuff in a little bit. But and
Mhm.
also, like, what are your goals for in the acting, in your career? Like what would you want to see in the future? You know what I mean?
Gotcha. So my favorite movies, of course, for me has been the Rocky films. Pretty much anything Sylvester Stallone has done.
Oh, did we lose you? Oh, I think you're still there. Okay, guys, bear with us. We're having some connecting issues here. There you are.
Sorry about that. Yeah,
No,
sorry
you're
about that.
fine.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. You're good.
All right, good deal. But like I was saying, the Rocky films, anything Sylvester Stallone been in, because that's one of my all-time favorite actors. Anything that he's been in, I've always like paid attention to him and studied him because of his story. He's
Mhm.
not just a great actor, but he has an incredible story. Something that I've always followed. So, um, and Ghostbusters.
Really?
Ghostbusters is a huge favorite of mine as well. Yeah, like and the original Ghostbusters. So that's one of my
Like, who are you
all-time
gonna call?
favorites. Denzel
Ghost.
Washington. Yeah, yeah. And of course Denzel Washington is my all-time favorite actor as well. So
He's good.
so I just like to study the people that yeah, for sure. I just study people that I just really love and admire. So
Yeah. So they're your kind of your inspiration. So what are your favorite, I guess, um movie scenes that you've been in, or movies or stuff that you've done in the acting world that you're like, man, I love doing this. Like, which ones were your favorite? You could tell people and tell them where they can find them so they can go see you. Go check it out.
Well, first off,
Just kidding.
I never watch myself. I don't, I don't, I don't like watching myself. So, but I will say, um, I would say probably, the cop roles that I've done so far.
Okay.
Um, um, but I would love to get into more action stuff. Like film is what I really want to get into more.
Okay.
Um, and hopefully when that happens, it could be a little bit more action stuff because I'm a huge action guy. I've done the drama, I've done the villain, but I really want to get into more action stuff.
Okay, that sounds like fun. That's cool. So I know you've been like in movies like or on the series. Where was it on? Like Fatal Attraction, so a couple of different ones. You say you don't watch yourself. That's I think that's kind of I guess I've heard that before. And like when you look at different actors, but what is you're more action? So in your future, are you trying to do this?
Mhm.
Like I don't know, you're not doing this full time, right?
I'm not doing it full time. I want to. I
Okay.
really want
Yeah.
this to be my career. 'Cause like I said, acting is my passion. It's something that I really want to do. So hopefully I can do it full time.
Okay. Okay, guys, there is a delay, so I apologize, but we're working through this. So, well, I'm excited to see your future in acting, and I think that's so really cool. You know what you do, and you're right. I feel like movies, to me at least, like the inspirations, the actors that are inspiring you are really great actors. And I feel like so many movies are so relatable, and I think that's such a cool, exciting career. Now, before we get into other stuff, also how I look at TikTok, right? At least when I do my
Mhm.
crazy ones, I'm like, this is kind of like acting too, right? Because you're like, you do like the voiceovers, or you do like those funny ones, like
Yeah.
the one I duetted you. And by the way, you guys should go check that out. But I think it's kind of cool because it's like really short clips, but that's kind of like acting, right? What do you think about the TikTok platform? Because I know you've grown tremendously on that platform. How has that been for you? I mean, that's where I found you.
Well, well, no, you're absolutely right. TikTok is an app where you can like channel your acting, because it just, a lot of the sounds that's on there, it gives you an opportunity to, not just, uh, do the sound, but it allows you to bring out the character too. You can bring out,
Yeah,
your own version of how you wanted to how you wanted to portray it.
yeah.
And TikTok was like that outlet for a lot of us actually, back then. Because for me, I started when the pandemic hit. You know what I'm saying? And that's when, you know, TikTok is all we had. Because it
Yeah,
helped us to get through a lot of challenging times. And so when TikTok, actually I started TikTok when it first. My first time doing TikTok was back in 2015.
oh wow.
TikTok's been out a long time, but I think I think TikTok uh, started like really growing a lot more during the pandemic.
During the
So
pandemic. Hmm.
um, for me, during that time, it helped me to kind of you know perfect my craft a little bit because it does give you an opportunity to just not only have fun but also uh, be creative and just allow you to channel that inner actor that's on the inside of us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So um, TikTok definitely helped out a lot during some crazy times.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know I could be an actress. Like I was like, "Oh wow." Like I'm just kidding. I just have fun. I just have fun with the app. But it is it's pretty cool because I mean, really it
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
You're channeling. I'm pretty sure a lot of people be scoping people on TikTok and be like, Actually, I've seen also other TikTokers who've like blown up on TikTok, and now they're like appearing on like movies
Hmm.
and stuff like that. So I'm just like, dang, I guess it is. Even it's the same for like
Yep.
people in the music industry, right? Have you gotten opportunities from that or no? I mean, you've already
Yep.
been doing this for a
Yep.
minute.
For sure.
Yeah?
Well, yeah, I've been acting for a minute. I can't say that I've gotten opportunities from TikTok, but
Yeah.
you know, as it relates to, you know, the acting stuff. But, you know, it's allowed me to connect with some really great people such as yourself.
Oh, thank
And
you.
you know, honestly, I feel like that's what, you know, TikTok has really been about. It's just being able to, get through those rough times and to be able to connect with some, some really good people. So, but as far as like acting opportunities, no, I haven't. Well, I take that back. I have connected with some people that that's become my management team, and
Oh,
they've been able to help me with some stuff. So, um, and because of that, yes, there is an opportunity that I do have coming up later in the future. But it is I feel like TikTok has it's been a a great you know a great space to just be
platform
able to
for
connect and to be able to create opportunities, and the platform has been able to just help a lot of people. You know what I mean? So
yeah. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think it's such a big platform, especially. I mean, I feel like nowadays even more than I don't want to say oh no, I will say it. I feel like a lot of people from TikTok are even like more famous than like the famous people, like actors or even singers sometimes. I mean, you see
that's a fact.
singers, right?
That's a
Or
fact.
you see them following these TikTokers, and you're like, wait, what? Which is kind of crazy. The way the tables are turning. I mean, obviously, you don't take away from the from people who are already famous, but it's such a crazy platform. So, and it's wild. And I agree with you. I think it's really cool the opportunity to be able to connect with people. Like for myself, when I did a podcast a while ago, but I kind of put it on pause, but I wasn't fully into TikTok. And now it's like the connections I've made are through TikTok majority, and I think it's really cool. So
Hmm.
I'm excited to see what you do, when your acting career. And of course, we're here to support you 100%. So I think that's exciting. And I
Appreciate
think
that.
this is such a great platform and an opportunity, so I do want to we're gonna flip the switch just a little bit. I love that you're into mental health. And like I said, of course I had to do my research. I
Mhm.
saw some of your interviews and some of, a little bit of your story. And you're welcome to share whatever you want. But I think it's so important to how do I say this? I remember once I had a girl who told me, well, a friend, I don't know, I guess I should say a friend. She's like, you should stop posting all this motivational stuff. She's like, that's boring. People don't want to see that. Like post something else, like more entertaining, right? And I remember when she told me, I was like, I'm like, okay. But then I feel like in the days that we're living now, like it's so important to talk about mental health because people use social media, since we're talking about social media, right? To scroll and to not think about what you're going through, to
Mhm.
not deal with the things that you need to deal with because let me just scroll and forget about. And the thing is that stuff eats you up. I'm talking from my experience, right? So I thought it was really interesting and important for
Right.
you to share your story because obviously it's women and men, right? But I think it is very valid and important to talk about men's
Mhm.
mental health because I feel like, and I can't speak for you because I'm not a man, right? But I feel like maybe a lot of times you can keep things in because of, oh, we're men and when we can't, we got to act tough or whatever the case may be. But I think it's so important for you to share that. So I think I'll give you the mic and you can share whatever you want to share because I think this is going to be impactful for many people, for men and women, right? But I think especially for men, especially being that this month is also men's mental health. I think it's important to talk about that because sometimes we want to hide things, and in reality people want to relate with you. You know what I'm saying? Because then they feel like, oh, damn, I'm not by myself. Like I'm not the only one going through this stuff. So I'll give you the mic, Lorenzo. You share with us. I think it's just your story's powerful, but I would love for you to share what you want to share, and hopefully whoever's listening or whoever comes back and hits that replay button can truly benefit from this because I think it's very important for us to talk about mental health because it's a real thing, right? So I'll give you the mic. I'll shut up now.
No, you're absolutely right. Mental health is a very important thing for everybody. But for me, you know, being a man, being a black man, um, of course, a lot of us we were taught to be tough, and and to not express emotions. But when you're going through so much in life, when so much is going on, it does weigh very heavily on your mental. And at some point, it will get to a point to where you don't you don't want to be tough anymore, because you just
Mm-hmm.
don't have the strength to be tough.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, you know now, but you're left with, well, what am I supposed to do if I can't be tough? Then what? Okay, well, then you're left with just letting out whatever it is that you're feeling, and as I got older, going through my mental health struggles, because I'm a two-time suicide attempt survivor.
Wow.
I tried to take myself out twice, because it was just so much going on, and I just couldn't take it. I got so overwhelmed to the point to where I'm like, you know what, I can't deal with this anymore. So I was literally trying to take myself out, and you know, fortunately, I was unsuccessful. I took pills. I tried to stab myself. And
Wow.
if you wanna count the alcohol, I tried to take myself out 3 times, because every day I was drinking. Every day. I'm talking about gallons of liquor, uh, 24 packs of beer, 36, whatever, because I just didn't want to feel anything. I was just tired,
Yeah.
But again, being that I was unsuccessful, um, obviously God still has me here for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
And ever since then, it's like I gotta share my story, because I feel like I am a testimony, but I feel like I'm also somewhat of a catalyst who can, speak out and let other men know that it's okay not to be okay. If you're not in the best mental space, if you're not in the best emotional space, it's cool. There's nothing weak about it. And a lot of us were taught to believe
That's true.
that being tough is the only way. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And and because of that, we just bottle all that stuff in. We harbor all that stuff in. But what's unfortunate is we don't realize that the more we hold that stuff in, the worse it becomes. Because at some point we're gonna implode, which
Yeah.
eventually causes us to explode. You know what I'm saying? And the fact that I'm a father, I'm also a grandfather. I'm a father of 4 sons. Um, and I've had conversations with one of my sons about his battle with mental health, and how
Yeah.
he was thinking about taking his life. I was like, okay, well, yeah, now I know I have to, you know, I know I have
Yeah.
to speak out now, because there's no way I can let my son go through all this by himself.
Wow.
Like, I'm not gonna raise my son and bring up my son in the way that I was brought up. That just can't happen. You know, um, so it's like I I just want to, anytime that yeah, a lot of people who know me, they know that I be on social media. I clown and I cut up a lot, but I'm very serious about mental health, because it's very important that, you know, all of us, but specifically for men, because I do want to make sure that I, you know, encourage, my fellow kings. I do want to, encourage them to make sure that you protect your mental health. Do what you got to do to protect your mental health, because
Yeah.
we're needed. You know what I'm saying? We're needed in whatever way possible, and I understand that sometimes it's like that's what a lot of people expect of us, to show up, but at the same time, make sure that you show up for yourself too.
Yeah, I wanted to pause it just a second because first of all, I appreciate you sharing that with us, because I think what you're doing, even just being willing to share, I think it's so not just powerful, but it's so important, like you said, because you touched on so many important things. The fact that you're a father, right? And this is such a rabbit hole. I know I probably could talk about this for hours, but I feel like a lot of the issues that we have nowadays, in men and women too, right? Stems from your upbringing, stems from how we were taught. Like you said, for men, hey, you gotta tough it up, like, deal with it. You're a man, or whatever the case may be, right? And I feel like,
Right.
oh my God, I don't know. It's just so important, especially nowadays. We talk a lot about mental health, but what you're doing, and I, man, definitely God has you here for a reason, for sure, Lorenzo, because like I believe that 100%. Sometimes we want to make choices, and God,
Mhm.
universe, whatever you guys believe in, He says no, like it's not your time, and I have that's why I love doing these podcasts, because I think it's important to share. It's really cool to be on social media and post funny things, and that's fine. But the reality, like I said earlier, a lot of times we hide behind these phones, we hide behind these computers, or whatever the case is, and the reality is a lot of people are dealing with mental health. A lot of people are dealing with things that they don't even know how
Mhm.
to deal with. And the fact that you're sitting
Dealing with
here.
real life stuff.
Yeah, and the fact that you have 4 boys, and that you're like, hold on a second, I need to change this. And I was just talking to my daughter, and my sister too. I just came back from San Diego, but my dad was also saying how, like, a lot of times we are stuck living in the past. And unfortunately, when we do go through stuff, it does affect you 100%. But it's just like, how can we heal,
Mhm.
right? How can we heal and be like, all right, that sucks what happened to me, but like you said, it's gonna stop right here. Like, I'm gonna break these chains, and it's gonna stop right here.
Mhm.
My boys, nah, we're gonna stop. If I have to step up, even though I went through whatever I went through, like, I'm gonna change it, because I don't want my 4 kings to go through that, right? Or other men, and a lot of times I feel like
For
men,
sure.
and I'm not speaking for men because I'm not a man, I know, but I'm saying, because it happens for 2 women too. Many times we keep it in, and we're like, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good, and then boom, and so you get to a point where you explode, and you're like, okay, I can't do this anymore, because we're not dealing with whatever it is,
Mhm.
whether it's anger, resentment, I don't know, sad. If you're sad, and like you said, it's okay not to be okay, and then it's what you do with that, right? Would you how Tell us what made you, like, or what helped
Right.
you, I guess,
Right.
what helped you kind of like, okay, I need to get my shit together. I need to just be like, change my way of thinking. Like, what was it that snapped in you that you're like, I need to change this?
I mean, to be honest with you, um, so I don't have like a coming to Jesus moment. It was more so of the fact that I was unsuccessful with taking myself out.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? It was the fact that, okay, um, obviously God has me here for a reason, and you know, and a lot of times, it's like we find we try to do things on our own. We try to find our own way. We try to find ways to handle certain things, and then it's like our plans never work. So it's
True.
like, okay, well, it's obvious that my route is not helping. My way of trying to do things isn't you know um, going the way that I thought it should. So what's left? Honestly, what's left is putting it in God's hands. And to be honest with you, it just took God's timing. It took a process. It took, me having to go through the things that I went through, um, you know, to you know to get to where I am now. I'm not going to say that I'm where I want to be, but I'm very thankful I'm not where I used to be. And
Hmm.
it was
That's
nobody
fair.
but God that did that. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And like I said, my kids mean the world to me. And when my kids reach out to me and they tell me about the things that they're going through, and they tell me about their sadness, and they tell me about, their struggles and all of that. It's like, okay, well, I got to be there for my kids.
Yeah.
There's no way that I can, you know, um, there's no way I can watch my kids go through what they're going through, and I'm not there for them. So, um, I just took it upon myself to just, do what I had to do, take the necessary steps to get better. Um, I'm in therapy. You know,
Okay.
um, I've been to AA meetings for alcohol. Um, and then just being able to do what I love to do, which is acting. Um, you know, it's like it's a combination of things that's really helping me. Help me to get to where I am now. Um, Again, not saying that I'm where I want to be, but I'm thankful I'm not where I used to be. But
Yeah.
just the mere fact that God kept me around,
Yeah.
that in itself was enough for me to just do better and just push to just be better and to
Yeah.
simply just do the work. You got to
To
do
do
the
the
work, and you got to acknowledge, yeah, you got to acknowledge, what you're going through. You got to accept the fact that you're not in the right headspace. That's why that's why I always tell people, just acknowledge the fact that you're not okay. It's cool. Feel everything that you need to feel. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Especially the guys, the men. It's not weakness that you admit you're not okay. As a matter of fact, it takes a great deal of strength to admit that. It takes bravery to do that.
Yep.
But you have to. It starts with you though.
100%. Oh my God. And that's why I think it's so important to have these conversations, because it's so true. That alone, that title of "It's Okay Not to Be Okay," I think we have to be able to grasp onto that. Be like, hey, like, and first of all, I think that's so incredibly powerful. And one thing you said, I'm not where I want to be, but I'm glad I'm not where I was. I think it's so powerful because a lot of
Mhm.
times, and I'm guilty of it, where I'm like, the people tell me, "Oh, you're doing so good." I'm like, yeah, I still have ways to go. Like, I'm not. But when you stop and you're like, okay, I do have
Yeah,
goals still, right? I still have. There's a where goals that you have. But I think I made a video the other day. But it's so important to also embrace the journey that you're on. You know what I'm saying? Like what you've gone through. That's something I'm learning too. And
for
I
sure,
think
for sure.
when you look at it that way, you're like, okay, I have goals, right? And then that's great to have goals, of course, or this is maybe where I want to see myself in the next couple of years or whatever the case may be, right? But it's also good to be like, look, take that deep breath and be like, I'm okay. Like you said, man, if it wasn't for God's grace, I wouldn't be here, right? And I'm here for a reason. Obviously, God spared your life
For
and he
sure.
said, nah, like, and thank God, because you wouldn't be able to be here right now sharing your testimony. You wouldn't be able to like impact people the way you have and help men as well. And I think that is so important because I know maybe if guys are listening, they're like, Cynthia, be quiet because you're not a man. But I can, like, listening to your story and really paying attention, it makes sense because it's so true. Not even, they want you to be this. How do I say this? Okay, give me a second. I get excited. So, like, there's so many stigmas, right? For men and women, right? So many stigmas of the
Right.
woman is supposed to be like this, the man's supposed to be like this, da 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 da. And it's so crazy because we get so wrapped up in that instead of saying, hold on a second, hold on. How am I going to be a better mom, a better partner, a better dad, a better friend, if I'm not okay? You know what I'm saying? Like, how am I going to be an example
Yeah.
to my kids? How can I show my kids or even tell them, hey, take care of you? And then they're like, wait, so I think a lot of times we're so stuck on these stigmas that we don't prioritize us being okay or taking care of our mental health and understanding that life happens and unfortunately we go through hard times, but it's important for you to take care of you because if not, then how will you be 100% for you and for others? Does that make sense?
And it's absolutely, and it is very important to also, to your point, um, you have to unlearn some stuff
Oh, that part.
because a lot of the stuff that you were taught doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to work
It's
for
true.
what you have going on right now.
Yep.
Because you said it, to be a better parent, to be a better partner, um, what you were taught growing up, that may not be the best way to do it.
That's true.
You know what I mean? So you have to, make sure that, as I said, unlearn some stuff. And but that all ties into, prioritizing your mental health.
Right.
Because if mentally you're not in the right headspace, because the thing is, a lot of us, we've conditioned ourselves to believe that this is the way things are supposed to go.
Mm-hmm.
And for some of us, it's hard to come out of that. But it's like when certain things come up that's different, that doesn't align with what we were taught. Now we have to relearn everything,
That
and
part.
it's
Yeah.
like you have to, again, prioritize your mental health.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you have to take time to unlearn a lot of the stuff that you were taught, because once you notice that things are not working how you thought it was supposed to go,
Mm-hmm.
okay, then that means you have to just learn stuff all over again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is so true. And I think you saying that it's something and it's easier said than done, right? Because
For sure.
unlearning things that you've grown up with, and that's the crazy part. Because I feel like once you get to a point where you're an adult, right? You can make your choices. You decide whether you take this route or you take the other route, right? And
Hmm.
unlearning it is hard, but it is possible. And I think a lot of times I've heard people be like, "Oh, mental health," or, but I don't know if people are understanding. Like it's definitely a thing, and it affects our life and our choices, and I think breaking those stigmas, breaking saying, nah, in this generation it stops with me, because I'm gonna break those changes, it stops right here,
For
because we
sure.
are so used to, like, and it's not even disrespecting whether it's your parents or the environment you lived in. That's why I think it's so important to even acknowledge the environment that you're in. Like, who are you surrounding yourself with? Who do you speak to?
Mm.
What do you listen to? Like, all that is so important. And I feel like it it's something that we have to acknowledge, and understanding, like you said, it's okay not to be okay, and be like, okay, hold on a second, why am I continuing to make these bad choices? Why am I continuing to
Right.
attract the wrong people in my life? I've been there, and I'm still in this process of, like, okay, Cynthia, you need to heal this and that, so you don't attract this type of people, whatever, right? And it's something that I
Mm.
feel like, and especially in this days, and I don't know if you agree with me, but like even just interacting with people, like, it's so, the connection in people, it's so hard. But I think it's because, I don't like to say people are broken, because I just don't like that term, but it, to a degree, nobody is really focusing on how can I be better. I think everyone's wanting, how can I be accepted, how can I be treated better, how can I, and when in reality it's like, how you treat yourself
Mm.
is what you're going to continue to attract in your life, and it's easier said than
For
done. But
sure.
I think it is important to talk about it, especially like you said, us that we have kids. I think we're about the same age. I don't know, I won't ask you your age, but you said you're a grandpa, and I'm a grandma. So but I think I look at my grandbaby too, and I'm like, man, I see these little boys, sometimes I grab him and I cry, because I'm like, God, like, this world is such a evil world sometimes,
Mm.
and I think it's just so important. Like you said, it starts with us. Like, I need to heal me, So I am so grateful that you're sharing that with us, and that you are an advocate for men's mental health, because obviously you can relate in that area, and men need to also know, hey, I know this is what it's expected from you, but, like, you have to take care of you,
For
right? And
sure.
nobody else is gonna do it but us, right? But you,
Yeah. For
you
sure.
know.
And that's very important. Again, um, you have to, as I said, prioritize your mental health. It is very important that you do so because, um, of course, we're expected to show up, but we're not going to be able to perform, you know, and show up in the way that we need to if we're no good to ourselves.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like we
Yeah.
can't, we're not going to be able to uh, be who we need and be what we need to be if we don't make sure that we take care of ourselves. And
Mhm.
you know, we do have to, you know, break that stigma
Yep.
that society has placed on us, or whatever we were taught growing up, that men aren't supposed to express emotions, men are supposed to be tough, men are supposed
Mm.
to, you know, be the traditional man, provide, protect, and all this other stuff. And of course, as a man, yes, of course you're supposed to do that. But at the same time, you also have to make sure that you take care of yourself too.
Yeah.
You know what
And
I'm
that makes
saying?
complete sense because it's like you said, there's certain things that are like, okay, this is how it should be. But I feel like a lot of times, oh my God, I don't even know how to say it. My sister, hey sister, thank you for being here, love. I think it's so now that I don't know, hopefully my sister doesn't mind that I share this, but I was just in San Diego this weekend and I love spending time with my family. And I was talking to her husband, we went to have dinner and she was saying, "Oh, he has so much energy, he does so much for our family and which is so beautiful." But yeah, I could tell he was tired and I remember looking at him and saying, "But don't forget about you." I'm like, "Take a breather every
Yeah.
now and then. Like take a little breather and make sure you take." I remember saying that, and my sister's here, she could say I said that because I think I get chills talking about it just because it's such a real thing. And I think a lot of times people don't want to talk about it, or they might be just ashamed to say, like, no, 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 I'm good. I got this. I got this. Like, I'm okay. I'm okay. But me personally, my experience where I'm in the process of healing my nervous system because of putting my feelings to the side, because of people pleasing, because of I'm
Hmm.
okay and I don't want to show that I'm going through something. It takes a toll on you mentally and physically, emotionally, spiritually, all of that. And I think if we don't address it and we get to a point where then you explode, like for example, what you've shared with us, I'm sure, I mean, I can't speak for you, but I'm sure you just got to the point where you're like, dude, I'm done. Like, I can't, I mean,
Listen,
only you can share that, right?
so let me
Tell me,
let
tell
me
me.
just share this, because what you just said, I appreciate you saying it too, because the fact that you noticed that he didn't look like he was, you know, uh, it looked like he was
It
tired. It
was
looked like he
tired.
was,
Yeah.
yeah. And the fact that you acknowledge that, see, that's something that us guys we need, because yeah, again, we're only known to just show up. We put our feelings to the side. We put everything to the side to make sure everybody else is good, and we're pretty much just there to just take on whatever. But the fact is, yes, we do get tired, right?
Yeah.
But we don't know how to express that because we don't
Mm,
want to upset anybody. We don't want to make, if I'm with my lady, we don't, I don't want to make my lady upset by saying, "Hey, look, I'm ready to go." You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? But it's like it's good to know that your partner notices when you're not in the right space,
Yeah.
and to say, make sure you take care of you, make sure like honestly, it's the little things that matters. Like if my lady, well, if I had a lady, if my lady said, "Hey, are you okay? You need to go, you ready to go?" Like that right there, with that matters.
Mm-hmm.
That matters because the fact that you can see that I'm not
Yeah.
good. You know what I'm saying? And the fact that you know, you're
Acknowledging.
putting acknowledging that, like, that matters. Stuff like
Yeah.
that really does matter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So um, the fact that you did that, I'm pretty sure that spoke volumes.
Yeah, and my sister just said, she said that that's exactly what he does. She said, "I told him he needs to learn how to receive love." And but see, this is why I even talking to you right now and just the feedback, it makes my heart happy because these things need to be talked about, because I feel
Hmm.
like if in a relationship, and we're not specifically talking about relationships, but it happens, right? Like both have to be okay and know that, and understanding that this life is not easy, and
Mm-hmm.
and it is important to be mindful. I always tell my kids that the word mindful is such a big thing in my vocabulary and in my life, because I feel like a lot of times, how do I say it? There's selfish. There's two types of selfish, right? Being selfish, where like,
Mm-hmm.
you just don't give a F about nobody, right? And then there's a
Right.
selfish that you need, where you're like, hold on, whoo, I need a breather. Like,
Yeah.
I need to, for example, me, my kids, they ask me, what do you want for your birthday, mom? And I'm like, I just need to get away for a little bit, and they
Yeah.
got, yeah, and they got me, a ticket. I went to San Diego and see my family, which was so refreshing. And I think it is that, just acknowledging. I say, hey, listen, because if you understand that, you're like, look, I'm looking, especially if you know your partner. Hold on, okay, I see him kind of. I could just see in your eyes you're tired. I'm tired too. You could even say that. Okay, what can we do to? Do we need to get away for a second? Do we need a babysitter? Do we need, and I think,
Yeah.
but a lot of times, like my sister just said, you need to learn how to receive love. That's the thing. I think a lot of times we don't know how to. Or like you
Right.
said, we're expected to go on the go, 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 go. And if I don't do this, then I'm gonna be a failure into somebody else's eyes. Shoot, I say, listen, again, you have to take care of you, because the person that you have to take care of and be the biggest cheerleader is yourself, because we're so
Right.
hard on ourselves already, and I think that's so important. So it's just
Yeah.
like, it makes me happy that, honestly, that you're sharing this, because I obviously, I love woman empowerment, but I understand also it's not just about women. It's we're all battling with our own demons, if you will, sometimes, and
Mm-hmm.
we just need to be more understanding. But I do believe the people who are out there hating and doing stuff is because they're not truly taking time to focus on their mental health and just say, okay, hold on a second, why am I sad? Why am I tired?
Right.
Like why am I stressed? What do I need to do? What do I need to do to be better? And now,
Mm-hmm.
if you have people in your life that can contribute or support you in that, I mean, shoot, 100 times better, right? But
Right.
it's a real thing. The Say Life coach is here. Welcome. Thank you for being here, love. Yeah. So I don't
What's
know if
up,
you want
Say
to
Life?
say. Yeah. So I mean, I love that, and sister, thank you so much for being here, because I think it's just a topic that needs to be talked about, because it's easy for me to go on social media like, ladies, but hello, like, how are you going to attract someone in your life if you are not doing the work within yourself? Because you have to be
Well, you
able.
know what?
Yeah. Go ahead.
I'm don't mean to cut you off.
Yeah.
I'm glad you said that, because that's also part of the reason why I like to also vouch for the men also, because protecting your mental health also
Yeah.
means that you're getting yourself right, so you can also be who you need to be for your family,
Right.
for your partner, potential partner, whatever the case may be, right? Like, you don't want to, because you also need to make sure that, because yes, women go through it too. Yes, I'm a mental health advocate for the men for sure, but I also am aware that women go through it too, and we don't want to, we want to make sure that we don't put so much on y'all either. Like, that's why communication is important, effective communication.
Mhm.
Um, that's why it's important that, if we need our women to understand us better, then yes, we have to communicate, but we have to know how to communicate.
Yeah.
We have to like, we really have to make sure that we put it, that we verbalize it in a way to where, you understand where we're coming from. You know what I'm
It's
saying?
so
And then
true.
also to and to also, let you know that we're also trying to get better so we can be there for you too, because
Yeah.
we're well aware that you go through things too. Women go through a lot of stuff too,
Yeah,
but
we
we
do.
also we want to be able to understand. Yeah, we want to be able to understand that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, mentally we have to, be in the right frame of mind in order to, you know, receive what's being said to us. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Receive what y'all are saying, and what
Yeah.
y'all are needing from us. You know what I'm saying? We have to be in the right, frame of mind
That's,
in order to handle that.
that is so true. And something that I can't remember who quoted this. Who said this? I don't know. It was somebody famous. But they're like, stop. How do I say this? oh my gosh, I'm probably gonna mess it up, but you guys will understand what I'm trying to say. Like, stop looking for somebody else to come and make you happy. Because I think something that we do in this lifetime is that we want everybody else to be there for us. We want everybody
Hmm.
else to come and save us sometimes. We want somebody else to come in and just make everything better. But the reality is, and this
You
is,
got
you
to
guys,
do that for
yeah,
yourself.
you have to love you. Yeah, you have to love you. And I something that I've learned, I don't know in my lifetime if I will ever be with somebody, but or not, I don't know. Anyways, that's a whole other story. But what I do understand is that I have to fill my cup. I have to fill my cup and
Hmm.
make sure I heal and that I am happy and that I accept me so that when I do attract somebody, and that's partners or friendships or whatever, right? You don't, but a lot of times this is what I notice that that's why relationships don't work or even friendships or whatever the case may be because we're relying so much on somebody else to come and make us happy. And the
Hmm.
reality is that if we would all men and women take time to heal, to be like, okay, why do I keep reliving this? Why do I keep making these bad choices? Why can't I get things right? Like, what am I doing or not doing that is causing this to happen, right? And I feel like that once you get deep into that, and it's not easy, that then eventually you'll attract the right person or people in your life. That doesn't mean everyone's perfect, no. But I feel like then you stop relying so much on somebody else to come in your life and make you happy because I think that makes so many people miserable because we're living a life trying to
It's
please
it's
people.
it's gonna be hard for you to experience the overflow if your cup is empty.
Exactly. That part.
You're not gonna be able to experience overflow if your cup is not filled, and
Hmm.
you can't expect for people to come into your life to fill your cup. You
Yeah,
have to you have to fill that cup for yourself.
that part. That's what
You
I'm
can't,
saying.
like, how can you pour into people if you can't even pour into yourself?
Exactly. That's and see you said the perfect thing, Lorenzo. You said I was gonna say Lorenzo, but the Latina's coming out of me. You have a cup, right? And we want people to feel it. I know this. When I get excited, that happens. Okay. But you want to like, if this is my cup here, like I have to fill it, and whoever comes into my life can pour, and then that overflows, right? But a lot of
Hmm.
times we have empty cups, and we want people to come in, and I reason I'm highlighting this is because I believe it's such a true thing, and this is why many of us are not happy because we're just expecting someone to come save us, to come fill that cup for us. Oh, they don't get it. It starts with us. And I'm learning that. Like I'm a true testament of that too, because it's so easy
Hmm.
to point the finger on somebody else, to blame our past, to blame our trauma, to blame our parents, our partner, when in reality, it's like, okay, damn, that sucks that I went through what I went through. That sucks that so and so did whatever they did to me. Like I have a story too. Maybe sometime I'll share it, but like you have to get to a point, like you said, I'm here. I'm still here for a reason. God has me
Hmm.
here for a reason. What do I choose to do with that? Do I choose to just curl up under my bed and just feel sorry for myself, or
Right.
do I do something about it for me, and that so I can inspire others, my kids, starting with your kids, right, with your loved ones, like it's just, but I think a lot of times we don't want to do the work. We want people to come and save us. And then that's the mentality that I feel like we have to switch. Would you agree?
I absolutely agree. But unfortunately, um, you have to do the work for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's coming to um, pull you out of that hole, especially if they don't even know that you're going through what you're going through.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, if you want to come out of that situation, then yes, it starts with you.
Yeah.
Um, after those suicide attempts, yeah, I laid around, wallowed in self pity. Nothing was changing. Like nothing was changing. It was still the same old. Um, you know, but it was like, okay, either you can
Mm-hmm.
stay in the state that you're in, or we can figure out what needs to be done in order to get better.
Yeah.
And I had to take it upon myself to get better.
Yeah.
So I had to it had to start with me. It
Mm-hmm.
had to.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait on people to, apologize. I can't
That part. Yeah.
wait on, you know, uh closure from anything. I can't wait on none of that. I have to decide for myself that it's time to get better because I don't like the state that I'm in.
Yeah.
It's
And
easier said than done, of
mm-hmm.
course,
Mm-hmm.
but it does get to a point to where, look, I'm tired of being in this state. So I got to do something.
That part, and that part, like that you just said, Lorenzo, it's saying, and I do believe that whether you like it or not, you do. If we don't learn, life will make you go through things where you're like, okay, that's it. I'm tired. You know how they say you rock bottom, you hit rock bottom, whatever that means for everybody. But it is such
Hmm.
an important thing because it's like it's like they say nothing changes if nothing changes, right? Nothing will change if nothing changes. And that's it. I believe, even hearing you, and I've been there too for many, many years, where you're a people pleaser and you're just always concerned about, like, what are they going to think about me? Am I going to fail? Am I failing my family? Am I failing whatever? If I'm, am I failing, period? Or we're so hard on ourselves as well, right?
Right.
We're like our biggest
Yeah.
haters, our biggest critiques, if you will. And I think, like you said, you had to realize that, okay, if I want to do something, I have to do it, right? I have to do it.
Hmm.
Nobody can do it for me. Even not even getting into religion. Maybe we'll have another conversation another day. But even God, I believe people are like, oh, just pray for me. I believe God's like, listen, I'm here for you, but you got to do something. Like, I'm
Yeah,
gonna help you through it, but you have to make that choice. I can't make that choice for you, right? And
for sure.
and it's possible, guys. So if you guys are out here listening, if whoever's out here listening, I appreciate you guys being here. Just understand this conversation really. I was so excited to talk to you because I just want people to know that you matter. Like, your mental health matters. Like, you are seen. Like you are enough to be like, listen, what does my soul need? Like what do I need to do to heal, to feel good, to be happy, And that doesn't mean life is going to be red roses, all the time. But I feel like when you prioritize you, like, that
Uh-huh.
changes, you know, right?
Uh-huh.
And
For sure.
you, Lorenzo, more than anyone, because you're speaking on here, can talk. Like, I'm glad my sister came up here and commented too, because men, I believe you guys do go through a lot, and I think this is why it's so important to be like, listen, I need to pause on what the stigmas are. I need to pause on what my mom told me how to be, or my dad, or my wife, or, hey, what's going on here? Like, what do I need to kind of just
Uh-huh.
refocus? You know what I mean? Right?
Yeah,
What has
for
helped you? Now,
sure.
I know you said therapy has helped you, Lorenzo, but what else has been like, okay, this has really helped me just kind of to stay on track, to be like focused, I guess. And it doesn't mean every day is a good day, I'm sure, right? But what has helped you?
Oh yeah. Also opening up myself to the idea of just having a circle, you know,
Mm,
because like I said, I do have a management team now that really, um, like, they're not just on my team just to make sure my acting career is going on, but they also make sure that I'm
that you're
straight
okay.
outside of that.
Mm,
You know what I mean? And I feel like that's important because it's good to have people in your life who really cares about you, who really
yeah,
has your best interest at heart. Because sometimes being a people pleaser and someone who just want to make sure everybody else is happy, and you
yeah,
know it feels good to have people who reciprocates that. They want to check
yeah,
on you and make sure you're good. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So um, that helps a lot. That really helps a lot, knowing that there are people out there who does care.
you
But
do
again,
care.
you have to open up. You have to open up that
Mm,
yourself to that in order to receive that.
you have to be
Because I know
vulnerable.
you have to. You have to, because I know I get it. Especially for men, it's hard for us to open up. It's hard for us
Yeah.
to be vulnerable. Um, it's hard for us to trust. I'm sure that it's like that for women as well.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it's like,
100%.
you do
I'm just
you
kidding.
do have
Sorry.
to give yourself, yeah, right. You do have to give yourself, the space to just, open up in order to, you know, receive that. And,
Yeah.
so yeah, that definitely helped. That helped out a lot. Like I said, therapy helps a lot. Just having the right people in your life helps out. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
um,
I'm glad that you said that because I like asked you something, but then you kind of, in a way, it's like, not corrected me, but like it just, that's why I like these conversations because sometimes you can say something, then you miss something. You just said, because I ask, well, what do you do to make sure that you're good? Like you have to take care, it starts with you. But it is important to be vulnerable. It is
mhm,
important to find the right people in your life that are gonna support you or simply be there or help you sometimes. Sometimes we need
yeah,
to put our pride aside and say, all right, I need help. I'm
yeah,
in a crossroads. I don't know what to do. You know what I'm saying? Like my sister just commented, we need to apply the same grace and mercy on ourselves that God has for us, or even we have for others at times, and not for ourselves. Oh my God, that's actually super really powerful because it's true. So many times
See,
we,
I'm glad she said that. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut
yeah,
you off. I'm
no,
glad
no,
she
no, it's
said
okay.
that because, but no, that is very important. Yes, we do need to
Hmm.
apply that same grace and mercy on ourselves. And, again, that just goes back to me saying, you have to allow yourself to be vulnerable at some point
Yes,
because, again, you
yes,
can't just, you can't keep harboring all that stuff on the inside. If you're not good, just say you're not good.
yeah.
If you need help, say you need help. And again, as men, we're taught to believe that, asking for help is a sign of weakness.
Mm,
Being vulnerable is a sign of weakness. Um,
wow.
you know, makes us feel like a failure. So that, so a lot of us, we don't want to allow ourselves to be vulnerable because we don't want to feel like we're failures. But
Yeah,
why would you want to keep going through what you're going through
yeah.
if you know what I'm saying? Like what, like
Yeah,
if you know you're not getting anywhere, then why not ask for help? It's okay.
yeah.
It's cool.
That is, and it's so powerful. And sister, thank you so much for posting that. It's just it's such a crazy thing as I'm listening to you and even reading the comments. I'm like, wow, it can be so. I don't want to say hard. I had a friend one time. She told me, Cynthia, it's hard because you're saying it's hard, but it is such a difficult situation because it's like you need to work on yourself. You need to do it for you. But then there's times that you do need help, and a lot of times when you keep everything to yourself, and
Hmm.
I'm guilty of it, like the last 2 years, I kept everything to myself, and then boom, it manifested in my body. I went through a Bell's palsy, and my nervous system is like, because I got this. I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm
Hmm.
fine. And there is times, like you said at the beginning, it's okay not to be okay, and it's okay to seek for help, and it's okay
Hmm.
to have a conversation with somebody, even if it's therapy, a therapist, or someone, a loved one that genuinely cares, and you're like, look, I'm going through this. Like, of course there's God too, whatever you guys believe in, but like it is important. So it's kind of like this thing of like, I don't know, giving more grace to ourselves, right? And saying, hey,
Hmm.
this is what I have control of, but there's a part of me that I'm like, I need help, man. Like I don't know what to
So
do, right?
let me share this part real
Yes,
quick.
please.
I don't know if you've seen it on TikTok, but I had posted something a while back where I was living out on the streets, right? Um, if I didn't allow myself to be vulnerable and say, yes, I need help, I would
Mm,
still be out on the street.
wow.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
so it's like, it's okay
yeah,
to, to ask for help. It's okay
yeah,
to, open yourself up to, people who's like wanting to help.
yeah.
Like it's cool. Like if my pride or my ego, if I'd have let that lead me, or be like, yeah, I
Hmm.
got this, I'm cool, don't worry about it, I'll be all right, I'm cool.
Yeah.
I'd still be out on the street. It's cold
Dang.
as crap outside right now.
Wow.
I would have been, I would have been out there freezing my butt off. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
because I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I need it. I need the help.
Yeah.
So, thank God I'm not on the street. You know what I'm saying? So again,
Yeah.
it is okay. It is okay to admit when you're not okay, and it's
Yeah.
okay to admit when you need help. You're not
Yes.
less than a man. You're not a failure. As a matter of fact, it takes great strength to admit
Mm.
when you need help.
That's so true. That's so true. And man, I'm enjoying this conversation because it is true. I'm sure this applies for anybody listening, you guys, right? But I do think it's important for men, like you said, you hear it a lot in our culture as well. It's like, "No, los hombres no lloran, men don't cry." Like, you like, and hello, we're all human beings. Like you
Yeah.
have to have an outlet, right? You have to have,
Hmm.
and like you said, it's okay for you to be like, damn, I'm tired. Like I need a minute. Like I need, because I feel like if you don't do that, then things spiral and they can get worse and worse. No, and I appreciate you sharing what you just did right now too. And because that takes a lot too. Like you said, there
Yeah.
are men who are very prideful, and even if they were in a situation you were in, they're probably like, like, nah, I'm good. Like, nah, I don't need help. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes
Mm.
you do have to put your pride aside and be like, no, and it's, man, it's so important. Lily, thank you so much, Miha. Thank you for the super sticker. And I think that's so, just so important, you guys. If you guys are listening, like, if you guys have any questions, because we are getting close to probably ending the podcast here soon, please post them here on the in the chat, so we can pull them up here. But it is important, you guys. It's okay not to be okay, and it's okay to seek help. Yes, you
Hmm.
have to make the decision of like, okay, I want change, man. I'm like, I'm tired of living the life I'm living. Maybe I'm tired of even living in the environment. That's something that I think is so important. Like, where do you live? Like, who do you surround yourself with? Is that helping your mental health? Like, the people you surround yourself with, are they pushing you to do better, or is it
Right.
deteriorating? How do you say that? Deteriorate. I can't, guys know what I mean. Your mental health,
you, you said it.
I'm just silly, I know. But no, and it's just, I think it's just so important, and it's to talk about it, and like you said, to just to reach out and say, all right, I know you know what, Lorenzo, even saying I need help is taking an action of love for you, because you're like,
For
look,
sure.
I can't do this.
Hmm.
I need help. Whether that's just someone to talk to, whether that's just guidance,
That's actually the first step, is actually admitting you
Mm-hmm.
need the help.
Yeah.
Admitting to yourself you're not in the right space. Is like that's the first step to getting better, is actually admitting, you
Yeah.
know, that you're not in the best of space right now, and it's okay to admit that.
It's
You
okay.
know.
Yeah. And I want to ask you, and I know it's already an hour. Sorry, I know we took forever to start. So if you have to go like now, say, Cinthia, I gotta go. But you sharing with us, that when you attempted to take your life, used a substance, alcohol or and stuff like that.
Mm.
Do you think, or what? I mean, you hear people say, okay, people go to that, to addictions, to drugs, to alcohol, just to kind of numb the pain, numb maybe
Hmm.
your thought process. Would you say, is that what, would you relate with that? Would you agree with that? I mean,
Oh yeah, for sure. That's what the alcohol was for. It was to numb the pain. It was, I just didn't want to feel anything.
feel,
I didn't want to, you know, you know, deal with what was going on, and which led me to want to take my own life, because
yeah,
it got to a point to where I just really didn't want to deal with nothing.
yeah,
But yeah, alcohol was my vice of choice. To help numb the pain, and it got so bad to the point to where, so it was like every day I was doing it, every
wow,
day, and I'm
yeah,
talking about all day, every day,
yeah,
gallons, like like nonstop. To the
yeah,
point to where it literally had me sick, but I kept going.
yeah. You just kept,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? So yeah, that was just my way of just
Hmm.
not wanting to deal with anything.
Yeah. And the reason I asked, is because I think it's important. I feel like everybody's different and everybody's story is different, but sometimes we do get to a point where you're just like, man, I just, I don't want to think about this. I can't do this
Mm,
anymore. And I just need something. And some people do go to drugs, alcohol. Some people go to food. Some people, different things, right?
yep,
and
yep.
and I think I heard somewhere, and this is really hard, at least for me, because there's a lot of stuff that I go through that I'm like, I don't want to think about it. I don't want to think about it, But they say
Mm-hmm.
true healing starts when you let yourself feel what you need to feel, whether that's
That's
anger,
it.
right?
That's it. That's
Whether
it.
it's anger, whether you're sad, whether you're mad. And I think that's what we avoid. We avoid, and
Mm-hmm.
whew, I got some other testimonies. I can't wait to interview, because it's a thing. And the reason I
Mm-hmm.
think it's so important to talk about this, because again, we can mask reality with social media. We can mask it with I'm good, I'm fine. And the
Mm-hmm.
reality is, like you said, you guys, if you take anything from this, it's okay not to be okay sometimes,
Yeah.
but I always say it's okay not to be okay, but then we got to just get up, dust yourself off, like the song says, and keep going. And obviously that's easier said than done, but I think just sitting in your feelings is one of the hardest things to do. But
Mm-hmm.
I do believe it is where true healing starts, you know?
So let me just say this to
Yeah.
anybody that's I can't see anybody that's on the chat, but let me just say this, and this is just my personal testimony. Um, you can use whatever substance, resort to whatever vice you need, but like really ask yourself, is it really helping though?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you think about it, like for me, alcohol didn't do nothing but just enhance what I was already feeling. It didn't
Mm-hmm.
resolve nothing. It didn't make me feel better. It
Yeah.
didn't do it wasn't doing anything but just making me physically sick.
Wow.
So it's like at some point though, I had to just say, you know what? Let me just sit here. Let me just feel what I'm feeling.
Yeah.
Let me just feel what I'm feeling. If I gotta cry, if I gotta
That
scream,
part. Mm-hmm.
whatever, let me just feel it.
Yeah.
And I promise you, once you do that, once you just allow yourself to feel,
Yeah.
that's when the healing begins. Like like you
Mm-hmm.
said, once you really begin to again, it starts with you,
Yeah.
and you have to allow yourself to just feel what you're feeling.
Yeah.
And that's when healing really does begin. That's definitely a testimony for me. I just
Yeah.
had to feel everything that I was feeling.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And
that's
I think that's something that we do avoid. And it's such a real thing, real talk, right? It's such a real
hmm
thing. And I think we do avoid it. Like I said, it could be whether with substances, it could be with social media sometimes. I'm
yep,
guilty sometimes.
yep.
You be scrolling and be like, I don't want to think about real life right now, and or my
hmm
problems, or the things that I know I need to do to be better or to reach my goals, whatever the case may be, right? And the thing is, if you're listening, and I'm a testament of that too. Like if you prolong that and you keep ignoring the things that you need to feel or address, like it's only going to get worse, and it's going to get to a
hmm
point where your body physically, and this is something I went through, where it physically can't anymore. My
Yep.
literally that's what happened to me, Lorenzo. Like I was just like I felt like, like I just couldn't, like physically I just couldn't. And the thing is, I think a lot of times we're like, I got this, I'm good, I'm fine, I can figure this out myself. And like you said, you taking that initiative of seeking help, or even just opening up and speaking to somebody and being vulnerable, is you taking a self-love action towards you, and also
Right.
putting your pride aside and say, hey, and whether you're a man or a woman, you guys, I mean, men out there, listen, you're human beings too. Like, hello, like it's I don't know, I just feel if we take time to heal as men and as women, then we're going to be so much better for ourselves and for each other,
For sure. For
right?
sure.
Because I can't come and do the work for you, Lorenzo, right? I can't come and heal you, and you can't do that for me. Now, can we
Right.
be support to one another? 100%, right? But
hmm
ultimately, we have to make that choice. And that's on what we do every day. Like, okay, if I know this is not going to be beneficial for my mental health, then I need to stay away from that, Um, and just pick,
For
I don't
sure.
know, just make better choices. Again, I know it's easier said than done, you guys, but ultimately it's important to understand that, I don't know, how can I say this? And I'm sure you can add on to this, but like I feel like when you get to a place of depression, I remember at one time I was like, I'm not depressed, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine. And then now I look back, I'm like, oh, I think I was kind of depressed and I didn't realize that, it's just that when you get in this funk, when you're just like, gosh, life is just life is just lifing, and I can't get out of this. This is when you have to stop and evaluate your life and be like, all right, what
Mhm.
are you doing or what are you not doing? Right.
Well, the thing is, you know what you're feeling, right?
Right.
So instead of seeking validation, just admit you're
Mm,
not you're not good.
you're not
Because
good. Yeah.
I think that's where a lot of us we also mess up too, because we feel like we
That's true.
just need that outside validation. No, you don't. You
Yep.
just need to you just need to admit with yourself you're not good.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so
You know what I'm
true.
saying? And then just go from there.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Man, well, I've enjoyed this conversation so much. Like I said, I could talk about this for hours, but it's time, and I'm very mindful of your time as well. I know we already took like an extra 30 minutes on trying to figure out the sound on here. But Lorenzo,
Yeah.
I appreciate you being here seriously, and I appreciate you opening up and talking and sharing, because I think it's so important. Like, continue doing what you're doing, and I'm always here to support you 100%. I don't know if there's anything else that you can leave people who are listening right now, or people who come back and watch this replay, something that you can leave with them. I don't know, advice or just encouragement, whatever. And then we'll go ahead and wrap up today's podcast.
Oh, just simply, prioritize your mental health and show up for yourself. That's it. Make sure
That's
you
it.
show up for you. You don't. That's it. Show up for you.
That's it. All right. Well,
You can't be a help to nobody if you know no help to yourself.
that part. That part. All right, guys. Well, you guys heard it. You guys, I love you guys and appreciate you. Honestly, if you guys can do us a favor when this is done, share this live with somebody who you think might benefit from it, or just simply rewatch it, because I know people can come back here. But I appreciate you guys, whoever stuck with us this whole hour and 17 minutes. It means a lot. Lorenzo, again, thank you so much. And guys, we'll see you guys Tuesday. Take care of yourself, prioritize yourself, love yourself, because if you don't love you, how can you love somebody else, right? Like, that's what I say. But anyways, Lorenzo, thank you so much, you guys. Have a good night, and we'll see you guys next week. Thank you again for being on here, Lorenzo.
Appreciate you.